Hey, good afternoon, guys. Dexter and Tonya here. We're so excited to have you join us for day Short Stories That Matter, episode 7. Wow, hadn't it been it's been a phenomenal journey, right? I mean, we've had some incredible stories that we shared with you. So thank you all so much for chiming in. I mean, this could be your lunch. And you said, hey, while I'm eating my lunch, let me listen to these short stories. So we hope you've gotten something out of it. So, even a replay, if you could share this Facebook Live and just say, hey, guys, hop on real quick and listen. If you're watching as from the replay, thank you so much for watching. And please let us know if it's the replay. Just type in replay. You know, we're seeing some incredible, what Oprah calls it, her aha moments. We're seeing a lot of aha moments that started last Wednesday with our 8 days of short stories, stories that matter. So we're excited about it. So if you're new to our Facebook Live, drop a 1 below. Just put the number 1 because this is your first time watching our lives, okay? And if you've been watching us, thank you. We so value you spending some time with us. So we have an incredible story for you today. Again, this is day 7. Tomorrow is it. Tomorrow is our last story of this series. Wow. We hope that you guys have enjoyed it. So go ahead and just hit the share button and share it with your friends and family members, because today's story is really good. And I think you'll find it to be very good for you. It actually speaks to all of us. So anything you want to share before we get going?
No, just welcome. I'm seeing the ones. I see Tanya and Darlene says it's your first time. Wow, thank you guys for being here. We really do appreciate it. Value everybody's time. So we pray that you get something out of this and, talk to us. I love when I go back and look at the comments and I see, where people, you're saying different things. I'm like, wow, that's good. So engage. Let's do this together. We're going to help each other here. Okay. So welcome.
Welcome. Okay, so let's get started with this short story. Then we're going to jump into a quick dialogue, and then we're going to bid you guys a wonderful afternoon. And hey, let us know if you like it. Thumbs up, hearts, all your comments are welcome. So let's go. Ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. There once was a little boy who had a bad temper. His father came up with the idea. He gave him a bag of nails and told him that every time you lose your temper, I want you to take a hammer and nail it into the back of the fence. So every single time this young man got married, his dad said, I want you to take a hammer and a nail and pull a nail in that fence. The first day, the boy had driven 37 nails into a fence. The first day.
One day.
37 nails. Over the next few weeks, as he learned to control his anger, the number of nails hammered daily gradually dwindled down. He discovered that it was easier for him to hold his temper than to drive those nails into the fence. Finally, the day came when the boy didn't lose his temper at all. Can you imagine what that fence looked like? All those nails hammered into the fence. Can you imagine what it looked like? So he was so excited. He told his father about it, and his father came up with a suggestion. He suggested that the boy now pull a nail each day out of the fence that he was able to hold his temper. So each day after that, if he was able to control his temper, he would go to the fence and pull out one nail. The days passed, and the boy was finally able to tell his father that all the nails were gone. Can you imagine? Dad, all the nails are gone. His father took him by the hand and led him to the fence. He said, son, you've done well, but look at the holes in the fence. The fence will never be the same. When you say things in anger, they leave a scar just like this one. He was pointing at the nails, pointing at the holes. They leave a scar. You can put a knife into a man and you can draw it out. It won't matter how many times you say you're sorry. That wound is still there. That's a good story. It takes us in several different directions. Really does. And as you're watching this live or watching the replay, you're thinking about some things that you said to people and you said you're sorry, and you think about the weight, right, of what you said, and you said you were sorry, but where did it go from there, right? Mm-hmm. As Tonya and I were reading this story, we say, you know what, it's a great story, but we have to disagree with the ending part. What do you think, Tonya?
Well, we challenge it a bit.
We challenge the ending.
So here we are. We got a little boy who has an anger problem. Here he is with his dad working with him, and because of his anger, he says, "Well, let's do something. Every time you lash out in anger, we're going to put a nail in the fence." Then, when the little boy begins to identify and say, "Well, I do that a lot," now he gets to take a nail out, right? Once he realizes, I've controlled my anger today. But then daddy shows him, look at all of the holes left in the fence.
Wow.
The power that's within our mouths. I know we've all heard it before. The power of life and death is in the tongue. Things that I speak, the things that come out of it, is power. It can build up and it can even tear down. And Dexter's right. We do challenge the ending, because read it again, baby. What does it say? The way that this ends, it says what? Okay. And we want to talk about this just a bit.
All right. So what he said is the fence will never be the same. When you say things in anger, they leave a scar just like this one. You can put a knife into a man and you can draw it out. It won't matter how many times you say, I'm sorry, the wound is still there.
We're the fence.
Yeah.
We're the fence. Our words, the nail. How often have we said something to others, to someone else, and we regretted it after it came out? How often have we done that? Have you done that? When we go and we feel bad about it, and to get this visual of, even if I apologize, even if now I'm in a better place and my conversation is different, so I go and I pull it out, I pull that nail out because I apologize to you, but then I read the story and I'm hearing, but there's just a wound that's still left there. It's kind of like when we say, I accept your apology, but I'm not going to forget.
Right.
I'm not going to forget what you've done. I'm not going to forget what you've said. I'm not going to forget. That wound is going to always be there. And that's how it ended. It ended for me listening to it in and always. And that's what we're also challenging.
Yes,
we're in agreement with what? That there's power here. That there's life and death here in this small little thing within our mouth. And I can release things that will really hurt somebody else. It's there, and it's so true. We completely agree. I love the visual of seeing that fence with holes. Can you just visualize that? Holes all through that fence, because he takes out the nail, but what's left? And that's the thing that brings me to this question for all of us. And this is kind of what I had to do. I'm sitting, for myself, and it's like, what responsibility do I take and do I have as an individual in a situation like this? And I'm looking at all sides. I'm looking at it as someone who has hurt you, and I'm looking at it as someone who's been hurt. Mm-hmm. So I'm looking at it all. What about you? What are you thinking? What are you seeing right now? Now, here's the thing. This is how I felt. And I was telling this to Dexter earlier. I'm like, I can, even recently with our daughter, she's on crutches now. So she's coming down the stairs and she's coming into our family room in the area, and she slips, and it freaks me out. It scares me. And I call her name, Morgan Kennedy Scott. And we had a house full, cousins, everybody was here, over the weekend. Yeah. Well, I'm watching her now over the next hour and a half, and I continue to ask her, are you okay? What's wrong? And her mood completely changed. Finally, I had her go into my bedroom, and I went back there and I began to talk with her. And she basically let me know, it took a minute, but she said, you hurt my feelings. You embarrassed me. And I said, I embarrassed you? And she says, when you call my name like that, you embarrassed me. And I didn't realize that. And I apologized to her, and I let her know that basically it was fear. You know, I saw you slipping and falling, so I called your name the way that I did. It wasn't to embarrass you, you know. And she did accept my apology when she came back out and everything. And I watched her over the next 30 minutes it took. Then she kind of brought herself back up. But I'm glad that she told me, and I'm glad that I was able to tell her I apologize, and she received it. Now, is there still a wound that's there? Prayerfully not. This is something that I realized. Oftentimes we give people the benefit of the doubt the closer they are to us. See, I'm mama, that's daughter. They'll apologize. There's a true love that's there. So she accepted that. Think about that for you. Think about family members. Think about people that you really, truly love and you know you love and care about. And they may have said something or done something, but when they apologize and you think about it, you receive that thing, don't you? Yeah. But we are to love everybody.
That's right.
So think about me. And I'm not that family member. And I may do something. I may have said something. I may not even have known. But how do you treat me? And if I say I'm sorry, do you really receive it? And do you treat me as such? Oh, I hope you're hearing me. Yes. That's the thing to look at. I told my husband, I said, when I look at it, I think about myself and I go to God and I ask him to forgive me. And I really like, Lord, forgive me. I love you in my heart and so forth. And then because I've done wrong, I want his forgiveness. I want him to receive, you know, and that's what I do. I really want him to. And he does. And he throws it into the sea of forgetfulness. And if I want that from him, how much more do I need to give it to somebody else? And that's what really came and stood out to me as we read this story. Yeah, it's good. Like we really gotta love. It's like unconditionally. And when we talk about forgetting, you know, I may remember some things. You know, sometimes things you have to set a guard on. There's wisdom with some things as well. We don't want to put anybody in a compromising position ever, but that's where wisdom comes into play, and we have to use it. But the thing here to me truly is knowing how to love and being that person that can really release a thing and not get intertwined in it. Am I making sense?
Yeah, very much so. So I was thinking now, so think about it. You say something to someone and you hurt them and you realize you hurt them and you say, listen, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done that. Once you have asked for forgiveness and you've apologized, it is now on that person to release it. And let's think about this. Every time you see them and they are treating you some kind of way because they are holding on to something, that's not your problem. Yeah. That's not your problem. You need to, once you genuinely say, listen, I'm sorry, I did not want to do that. I didn't mean to say that. That's right. And they say, you know what? Okay, it's cool. Then it's on them. And see, what happens is if they don't let it go, it begins to be a weight on them. So you just need to know when you're free. See, that's why we challenge this story. You know, the wound that is always there. The hole is always there. Yeah, I get it in the story. However, people have said things to me that have hurt my feelings. But if I continued to walk in that hurt or whatever it was, that anger, then that's on me.
And they have control.
Yeah. And they have control. Yeah. And it's 1:13. We've got 2 minutes left. But I want to tell you this very quick story.
Okay. I might have to go to 120, y'all.
Okay. So look, let's just be real. Okay. I'm a 44-year-old man. And they say that baldness comes from your mother's side of the family. So right here, right, this thing going on up here is a problem for me. So I'm sitting downstairs. You surprised I'm sharing this on. So I'm sitting downstairs and I feel this hand tapping me on my head, and it's Morgan, right? And she says something really funny, like, Dad, you're losing your hair. You know, then she texts me this picture one day of a bald-headed man. And I'm like, you know, that's real funny, you know. And I felt some kind of way about that. You know, I felt, you know, I'm like, why are you picking at me? You know, I got some nice hair, right? But this up here, I don't know what's happening. Don't say anything, because she's picked at me too. So anyway, the next time I saw Morgan, I'm looking at her like, I'm gonna get you. You know, I'm like, wait a minute, man. You know, yeah, it kind of hit me a little bit because I'm feeling my hair, right? And I'm like, man, you know, hey, it is what it is. forget it, right? I don't care. But that's kind of a humorous story, but it's real. You know, every time somebody see you, they like, man, what's going on up there? I'm like, why you got to say that? You know, it's kind of funny. Yeah. But I mean, it's just real. People say things and we feel a certain way about it. But I mean, hey, she didn't hurt my feelings. I thought about it. But think about when you've said things to people and may have hurt their feelings. If you don't know that it hurt their feelings, you don't know. You know, sometimes you got to test the waters and see. Maybe you have no idea that you hurt a person's feelings, you know?
Yeah. So, there's just so many things that we can harbor. I think my big thing here was, excuse me. I think my big thing here was just things happen. We live, life happens, things do happen. Oftentimes it's not even intentional, but to get the visual, as Dexter even showed us, of the fence with those holes left in it, and to walk away thinking like I'll always have that, I just challenge that. We can release anything. Mm-hmm. I don't have to hold captive in my heart any type of hurt, disappointment, failure, anything. I can release that. That's power. We were talking about just basically having a shift. It's like a paradigm shift. I don't have to sit here and say, no, you hurt. I'm gonna always feel this. No, I'm not. You know, I release this thing and take control. And that is one of the biggest takeaways here for me. For me, it seems like I was thinking really quick, my mother-in-law.
We got 4 minutes.
We got 4 minutes.
No, we're over.
We're over time. So. Okay, real quick. All right, my mother was here. You know, my mother-in-law was here for my niece's graduation the other day, and she was sharing this story, and that thing I loved it. It's really good. But there was a lady with her baby, a little like I don't know if it's a 4-year-old child or a 4-month-old child, but that 4 is sticking to me. But she's there with the child. And so there's a man in there looking, he looks over at her and he says, if you need to shut that child up or I'm going to shut him up for you. Now, how many of y'all gasp?
Ooh, okay. Lord have mercy. Oh.
But that's what he said. If
you felt that, say, I felt that in the comment section.
That's what he said, all right? And so he did that, and she looked at him, and she said, no, you are not going to shut my child up. And then she says, I don't know what's going on with you. I don't know what's happening in your life. You know, she says, but you're not going to do anything like that to my child. My child is fine. They're being, you know, who they are. And the man broke. And he actually told her what happened to him. He lost a child and he was still dealing with that. So to hear the child in the back, this is a true story. This just happened here in North Carolina somewhere. Okay. But as the child was crying, it conjured up that hurt, those feelings. So he snapped off at her. Wow. That's the thing that I really want to, one thing I've come to understand is just how the enemy works really. You're talking about a circle. You're talking about just life. We all are connected with each other, you know? And if the enemy is like, if I can get you to do something to her that'll make her mad so that she say something to him and then he get this and he do this over here. You see how that thing just works? Somebody got to cut it off. That's why I said we're not going to sit here and harbor a hole in my fence.
That's right.
I'm not going to sit here and allow something to stay within me so that I can continue to help you hurt somebody else. Oh no, that's not gonna happen. So we're gonna cut that thing off. Yes, forgiveness is necessary. That's right. When we don't forgive, I'm telling you, it blocks things. You're looking for stuff to happen in your life and you're wondering, but I'm believing, I'm praying, I'm thinking. It could be unforgiveness. Seek, search, you know? If you ever somewhere and all of a sudden a thought comes back to you and you're like, oh man, and you remember that's something to deal with. You know, something could be going on and you say, man, if a person comes to you, that's something to deal with. Don't ignore it. And it's a matter of release. And we have the power to do that. There's a liberty that we all have. And especially when I'm serving God, and let me just be real with you. There's a liberty that you have to obey, to forgive, to follow. It's beautiful. Obedience. It's always better than sacrifice.
It's beautiful. So listen, we're at 1:19.
Ain't too bad.
We went over like four minutes. And I mean, I was thinking about this, the subconscious mind.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
And so when the nail, the hole represents the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is 30,000 times more powerful than the conscious mind. So when somebody does something to you, it goes deep into your subconscious mind and it creates an experience which you pull from. So that's where that deep-seated anger comes from. As a matter of fact, I can say right now, recall something that happened to you that made you angry. You can think about it. That's that subconscious mind pulling it up. And you pull up those emotions, you pull up how you felt, you immediately go back to that moment.
Have you ever, I'm sorry, don't forget the thought. Have you ever, I know, baby, I'm not. Have you ever been like, have you ever been like doing something and then you have a thought and then you stop thinking it, but all of a sudden you're like, why I'm feeling this way? And it's like, what was I just thinking about?
Ooh, that's
have you ever done that? Yeah. And it's like, what is it? I feel, something ain't quite right with me. It's that it is the subconscious mind. Y'all is powerful. God, we're going to have to come back and do some more training.
We
are. You have to join us for stuff like this. But I'm telling you, a lot of people don't understand and know the power of the subconscious mind. We got some information for you. But that right there, I'm so glad you brought that up, because that's to the point of me asking and saying to you, if you're sitting there and something comes back to you, that's something to deal with. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So as the upgraders, our responsibility is to help pull up that root. And that's what we're doing. So listen, thank you all so much. We went a little over time. We do hope that you forgive us for it. It's been a great story. The young man had an anger problem. And this father taught him that the power out of your mouth can create a scar in another individual. And even if you say you're sorry, the wound is still there. Well, what we did is we challenged the very end of that story to say you can pull up that root if you're the one hurt, so that you can move on and be free and not have any blockages. So we hope that you were able to find value in the story. Please share it with people. Hey, everybody knows somebody has an attitude problem. Everybody's been hurt. So if you're dealing with some hurts, just take
we've all hurt
somebody. The story. Yeah, we've hurt somebody and we're dealing with some hurts. Just take this and say, you know what, how can I change? Okay. So again, we hope that you found value in the story. This is the free giveaway that we've been giving away all week. It's the upgradersgiveaway.com. We want you to go and download this free report, the upgradersgiveaway.com, 11 secrets or 11 steps to success. That's what it is. It's something that we created on last year. We find it valuable. We hope that you're able to find it valuable. Well, listen, tomorrow is our last story. And you know, we've got probably 8-9 stories that we can continue this thing, but tomorrow is the last day. So we may do an extended version, maybe 20 minutes, which we've done now, but we might do 1 or 2 stories as the finale of this Stories That Matter 8 episodes. Thank you all so much for spending some time with us. We want you to get some value out of what we share. Hey, we can go live and just talk about nothing, but that's not what we're called to do. We're called to add value. Now, as the upgraders, we may not know you,
but we know what's in you.
We'll see you tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Have an
great
phenomenal day.
See you.
Bye-bye.